Welcome in. It's the Monday Scorecard presented by Encore Golf. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. How about that for a President's Cup and some meaningful golf in the middle of December? I got to tell you, I was absolutely glued to the television watching the President's Cup. Kudos to the PGA Tour. Congratulations to Tiger Woods and the USA team for coming back and capturing now their 12th win in 14 President's Cup. And also congratulations to Ernie Els. Job well done with the international team. It was a competitive and spirited competition, and that's what I would have to think the PGA Tour was hoping for. Right? The President's Cup has been lopsided now for many years. But down in Australia, Royal Melbourne, I think Captain Ernie Els versus Captain Tiger Woods really made this a President's Cup to remember. Now, many of you know I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan, right? And I have been for years and years and years. And the Seahawks are notorious for coming out and starting slow. You go to the President's Cup, like, why am I saying that to you right now? Well, it was exactly what the President's Cup was like. The USA come out, we knew they were the better team on paper, but they got punched in the face. It was a terrible first day for the United States team, a 4-1 lead for the international team. Day two wasn't looking good early, right? They had to rally late just to compete and split the points of day two. Take a deep breath. Some adjustments, right? You could see the American team getting used to the green. The speed of the greens was a major issue, right? You could see a lot of three putts, particularly with JT early with Tiger, blowing the ball by, 10 or 12 feet. Putts coming up woefully short, things that you don't normally see from PGA Tour players. They were getting comfortable with the speed. They were staying the process, and all of a sudden, day three, here they come incrementally working themselves back into the competition, and only down two going into the final day. Well, the better team won. They put them away in the fourth quarter, the last day, winning the President's Cup by a margin of 15-13. Now, you remember last week, I did predict, I said 15.5 to 12.5 the USA was going to win, and Ricky misses the 6-footer on the last day. I already hit it right on the head. But the Americans, they were the better team. They came out slow. They kind of worked themselves back into it. But like many of your teams that you root for, they put them away in the fourth quarter because that's what the better team does, right? That's what the championship team does, is they win when it matters the most. And Tiger Woods putting himself out there early against Abraham Ancer, who was the best player on the international team, set the tone for the United States to win. So kudos to, like I said, to Tiger and the entire United States team. I think they overcame a lot here. There's a lot of media out there that's still criticizing the President's Cup, that's still criticizing Tiger and this USA team, largely due to the antics of Patrick Reed. But you look at what this team had to endure. Number one, they had to travel halfway across the world, right? And Australia is a long ways away. It's going to take over a day to get there. Get used to the difference in the time. You had the Patrick Reed debacle, all of these questions to the players. What about Patrick? Do you stand up for what he did at the Hero World Challenge? And of course, the American team was not going to say anything. Right? Can you imagine if Patrick Cantlay says, yeah, you know what? I can't believe what Patrick Reed did. I don't stand for that. That's cheating. Can you imagine in a team atmosphere, you're getting ready to go into competition and your team members start saying those kinds of things? They're not going to do that. Now, I think some of this is going to start to leak out here as we go on in next season. Yeah, I think you're going to see some players start to say, yeah, I think that is cheating. That's something that I wouldn't do. I don't stand for that. Of course, some of that's going to start to come out. No one's going to look at what Patrick Reed did and say, yeah, that's exactly how you should handle things. I mean, Patrick couldn't have handled this situation any worse post whatever you think he did, cheated or not. I mean, he's handled it terribly incorrect. I mean, he's tone deaf, for crying out loud. But the team, they did the right thing. They pushed it to the side. And Tiger handled it. And the only thing that I would criticize Tiger for, and I did out there on Twitter, was, look, going into day 3, he's been the best player on the team. I couldn't believe that he didn't put himself out there. But you know what? It turned out to play in favor of the American team. I think he was sending a message to his team, and he was saying, look, you guys need to step it up here a little bit, get some momentum, start playing better. He believed in him, as he said many, many times. And you know what? They responded. They took that momentum into day 4, and they played some terrific golf. So you have to tip your cap to Tiger Woods in the way that he captained this team. I mean, he drove them through this. He led them through this beautifully after a slow start, and he got the better team to show up late in the competition, in particularly on the final day, on Sunday over there in Australia, Saturday night here, which was awesome, by the way. I love watching the final round on a Saturday night. I've got the Sunday with the family. I just thought the whole thing was just outstanding. So congratulations to everybody involved in the President's Cup. And you know what? I don't think I've ever said this. I can't wait for the President's Cup in 2 more years. And let's move on now to Patrick Reed himself, the former Captain America. Yeah, that's right. Former Captain America, Patrick Reed. Let me start with this, with Patrick. Patrick's not going to change. He's 29 years old. He has now owned and accepted what happened at the Hero World Challenge. Owned and accepted that he didn't do anything wrong, right? He has to live with the penalty, the victim card. He's comfortable with that. He's doubled down, he's tripled down on his behavior as we saw it down in Australia. But in saying all that, there's a handful of media out there that when something like this happens, a villain pops up, we instantly go to the soapbox and we say, Patrick Reed is so bad for the game of golf. So bad. Patrick Reed, quote, is hurting the game. Patrick Reed, quote, is ruining, I saw that, ruining the game of golf. Can we stop with this soapboxing every time something like this magnitude happens? The behavior of Patrick Reed, he is so bad for the game of golf. He is hurting it. I can't believe it. You guys should be embarrassed. I found myself on Twitter defending myself to a couple people that I was cheering for the American team. It was positioned to me that I'm in the industry and that I should be completely appalled and embarrassed by the behavior of Patrick Reed at the Hero World Challenge, that I shouldn't cheer for the Americans. And if I do, I'm basically condoning cheating. I mean, it's just crazy. It's such nonsense, right? Something like this happens in the game of golf, and we go to the nth degree on the soapbox. We self-govern. This is who we are at the game of golf. I get all that, and I think it's great. I really do. I love it. I love what I love about the sport. But we got to pump the brakes just a little bit here. Pump the brakes. Why is it so bad in the game to have a villain or two like Patrick Reed? Right? Why is it so bad? I mean, I don't think it is bad. I think it's good. Look at other sports, NFL, NBA, right? There's villains in those games. In fact, they put it out there for people to see when they have mishaps. 4-game suspension, substance abuse. Here it is. Here's his name, right? The PGA Tour covers up, 95% of all this stuff. So we get this kind of behavior from Patrick Reed, and it makes us uncomfortable. Like, we're just uncomfortable in this sport with this kind of stuff, and it takes us to the point that we just stand on a soapbox and basically say this guy needs to be eliminated from the game immediately. Make him go away. Stop it. We need more people like Patrick Reed, right? You want to grow the game, right? You want more publicity out there. You need more villains. It's good for competition, right? It's must-see TV. You have to tune in, right, to see what's going to happen. I mean, this caddy, for crying out loud, jumped off a cart and is pushing a fan member. Now, that's taking it too far. Now we're getting to we're interacting with the fan in a confrontational way that has some physicality to it. That's nonsense, right? Like, give me a break, all right? And that's a major problem. I'm with you. I get that. But Patrick Reed, I mean, in itself, and what he's doing and the way he's behaving, not bad for the game. He's not hurting the game. He's not ruining the game. It's damn good television, for crying out loud. Now, do I want my kids to grow up and act like Patrick Reed? No, I don't. I don't want my kids to grow up and act like Patrick Reed. I think Patrick Reed is completely tone deaf. I think he lacks self-awareness, and I think he is a jerk many of the time. But do I want my kids to be aware and to understand that there's people like Patrick Reed out there, that there's people that are going to come at things in a completely different way, right? There's people out there that are going to probably be rude to you, that are going to probably try to cheat and cut corners here or there. They're going to try to take advantage of you, right? Are there people like that out there in the world? Yeah, there are. And I want them to understand that you have to go into business with them. You have to compete with them on the football field, the golf course, whatever life is going to throw at you, and you have to be prepared for that. And at the end of the day, you know what? You're no better than they are. He's no better than you are. You take care of yourself. You compete. You respect your playing partners. And you do the very best that you can. I want my kids to understand that there's people like that in Patrick Reed. I don't want them to go away because it makes you better. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Monday Scorecard presented by Encore Golf. We'll be back next Monday, the 23rd, right before you kick off all of your Christmas celebrations. And how about these guys? 11-3, #1 seed in the NFC. Let's go!